come tap in. Brothers come tap in. Brothers come tap in, come tap in, come tap in. Bringing that substance straight to the public, no capping, no bluffing. Now run it up, buddy. Brothers come tap in, come tap in, come tap in, come tap in. Brothers come tap in, tap in, tap in, tap in, tap in, tap in. Yeah, what's good, everyone? Tap on in, tap on in. We got another good one for you, man. We got Democrats out there making a fool of themselves. Representative Joyce and Jasmine Crockett out there continuing on to do their anti-Trump moves. So let's go ahead and tap on in and see what they did at this congressional hearing.
The Trump administration has alleged that detecting and deterring transnational criminal organizations such as Iranian terrorist groups and their proxies is a priority for national security. But on March 2nd of 2025, your department announced that it would not enforce any penalties or fines associated with the BOI reporting rule, nor will it enforce the CTA against U.S. citizens, domestic reporting companies, or their beneficial owners. So I'm a little confused of how you square those two things. So my question is, can you explain to, or would you explain to the American public how you undermine the bipartisan CTA?
Hey, hold on for a second, Bill. You know what I'm saying? Before we continue on, because I know, don't everybody kind of understand these things. That's why a lot of these hearings get missed over. But when she's speaking about the bipartisan CTA, she's speaking about the Corporate Transparency Act. And the BOI is the beneficial owner information. You know what I'm saying? They're speaking about these corporations being transparent of who the owners are of these corporations. And she's assuming that they're hiding this, and she's just putting it on a certain group. But I just wanted to put that information out there before, so no one will be lost when she's saying BOI and CTA. Go ahead, Phil.
Enforcement and national security agencies to quickly and effectively know the true owners behind shell companies registered in the United States now that foreigners, including a drug cartel, gang members, could register a company in the United States with no state or any federal ownership reporting requirements. And I remind you in your testimony,
hold on for a second.
You talked about.
I just thought about something else too, man. You see how they try to use the most worst scenarios. Now, am I saying she's wrong? No, I'm not. But they be trying to use some of the words talking about cartels and these drug lords and all these foreign people. The specific group that she's speaking on, I promise you, they don't understand that part of the game that well. I ain't gonna say they don't know. There's probably some out there. You know what I'm saying? She might be on to something, but I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? But the cartel, though, come on now. I don't think the cartel knows how to use tax documents. You know what I'm saying? Understanding tax filing, because this is what this is. This is about filing taxes. You know what I'm saying? This is federal taxes, what she's talking about. But yeah, she had to use the cartel. So,
and that requirement just came out. I think it became mandatory this past year. The BOI, beneficial ownership.
Well, I don't know if you remember about 3 or 4 episodes ago. Remember, I was saying something, or maybe you remember the phrase me saying W8 bin.
No,
well, that's well, I can't remember what we were speaking on, but anyway, a W8 bin is a tax form. W8 BEN. That's a beneficial owner tax form that someone will use that they have a trust, and they will put like a birth certificate or put themselves inside of this trust, and they would fill out a W8 bin form as the benefit, making the trust the beneficial owner.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that now. Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, once you start to understand these documents, these tax forms, they actually there for everyone. It's not just for the wealthy, the rich, the oligarchy. It ain't just for them. It's for you, me, anyone else. You just got to sit down and read and understand the information. But yeah, let's continue on what she's saying.
illicit actors. Well, these are some of our illicit actors.
The Congresswoman, an overwhelming majority of the domestic entities that you're describing are hardworking Americans with small businesses. We bifurcated the bill, and any foreign entities must still file.
So are you saying to me it's not true that they must file and the foreign entities must file the BOI?
Yes, we bifurcated. We bifurcated the CTA program that domestics do not have to.
So maybe I'm asking it the wrong way.
You just answered your question.
It appears that they are doing it registering to avoid the transparency of who the companies are.
I'm not sure what your question is. I'd be happy to answer it.
So I guess I'm looking at it as.
Hold on, pause for a second. So yeah, even she's not even understanding how to ask her own question. He actually answered it. Yes, the foreigners, they have to. The foreigners, yes, they have to report. But the domestic, and I want y'all to pay attention as well when these politicians, when they speak, the American people, stop calling yourself U.S. citizen. And we're gonna get into that later on as well. The Americans, the domestic, bifurcated means they split in two. They divided it. So you got your foreign, and then you got your domestic, which is your American people. And he just out there said most of the ones you're talking about are your hardworking American people. And these are small companies. Matter of fact, let's pull up a little bit of information on this right here. Let's pull up the bill on this, the CTA bill. And I'm guessing she didn't look up this information, or I don't know, maybe she just wanted to find some kind of way to get him in an I got you moment. All right, so this right here, it's speaking on the bipartisan bill, bipartisan CTA bill that she was speaking about. With the Corporate Transparency Act, beneficial ownership information reporting requirement temporarily paused pending litigation. The House has passed a bipartisan bill that would extend the deadline by 1 year for some entities. Now, this is the part where she was talking about where she just didn't, she was trying to say he was there avoiding the question when he actually answered it, and she didn't understand how she really wanted to ask the question. But check this out right here. On February 10th, the House passed the Protect Small Businesses. Remember when he was saying most of these are American small businesses? Because this is what they're speaking on. The CTAs is talking about, they're trying to help these small businesses so they don't go broke. So continue to read on. Protect small businesses from excessive paperwork act. Unanimously with a 408-0 vote. Under the bill, existing entities that are a small business concern, as defined under 15 U.S.C. 632, would have until January 1st, 2026, to submit reports about their beneficial owners to Treasury Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN. They gonna report, and he said it. Yes, they have to report, but right now, the domestic, they don't have to, at least until January 2026. And then if you go down, look down here at the bottom where you see Representative Don Davis, Democratic from North Carolina, who co-sponsored the bill, said delayed deadline provides small business owners the time and clarity they need to meet new reporting requirements without incurring penalties. The pause that they put on it, the litigation that they're going through, that actually is beneficial to the American small businesses. But she trying to deem Scott to sit here as a problem, and like they're trying to help the cartel do trafficking and also money laundering. Like, it makes no sense. So let's go back to Joyce and let her continue on with this rant where she's not really making no sense and she getting confused on her own question. Who voted these people in? Y'all got to read. Y'all got to vet y'all's people a little bit more. This is who y'all voted for, but let's continue on.
And if you're saying it is not true and that they now are complying and completing the BOI, so let's take it one step at a time. So you're saying everybody is completing the BOI, you're enforcing it.
No, ma'am, I am saying that we have bifurcated it, that U.S. nationals do not have to file, and that foreign nationals do.
Okay, so I guess when we look at this, if we're limiting enforcements of the rule just to the foreign entity,
I don't know what he's saying when he say the U.S. Owners don't have to file and the foreigners do.
He said,
Because-
and also pay attention. He said nationals. He didn't just say U.S. He said national.
Mhm.
He didn't say U.S. citizen. National. You are a national. Your nationality, you are a South Carolinian, being that's where you're from. I'm from North Carolina. I am a North Carolinian. That is your nationality. You are not a U.S. citizen. Matter of fact, since you brought that up, pull up. Let's go to Cornell Law. And it's going to be the one that it should say, I forgot the caption of it, but it's 28 USC 3002 definitions. Now let's go down to section 15. You see where it says, you see the numbers go down to 15. All right, start right there. United States means a federal corporation. And any one of y'all can go Google this yourself. Just put in 28 USC. USC stands for United States Code 3002. And go right here to Cornell Law Institute. And go to subsection 15. And it tells you the United States means a federal corporation, an agency, department, commission, board, or other entity of the United States. The United States is not a country. It is a federal corporation. Let me show you where that corporation is located. Let's go to the next. I want you to click on one more link, Phil. And you can Google this at UCC 9-307. Location of a debtor. Click on the other link, Phil.
Out of this one.
Right here, location of a debtor, UCC 9-307. Now go down to subsection H. Now scroll down till you see H. Keep going. Keep going. Oh, right there. Hold. Go back up. Go back up. You're going too far. Slow down. H. Look for H, Phil. Stop. Location of the United States, people. It's not a country. The location of the United States. The United States is located in the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. The United States is not a country. It is a federal corporation that is located in the District of Columbia. So when you think about that, stop calling yourself a United States citizen, people. You are a national. You are an American. And that's why if you pay attention, even to Brissett, he just said it, the American people. You'll never hear these politicians speak in these congressional hearings and say United States citizens. They always say the American citizens or the American people. You are not a U.S. citizen. You are an American. I've never even been to the United States. And here's the law to back it up. But let's go on back to let's not get too deep into it because I don't want to venture off and start breaking out too many laws. And by the way, I am not an attorney. This is no way by any means legal advice. This is just educational awareness, just to let you people know you don't live in the United States. You live in America, North America. So let's go ahead and keep going, Phil.
That creates a giant loophole whereby any foreign entity can register in the United States and evade or not do the BOI reporting requirements.
Well, they would be subject to they would have to come through a U.S. financial institution, so they would be subject to all U.S. institutions.
Including the BOI. Including the BOI. Including the BOI, yes or no? Because the answer is no. I mean, you can say it however you want to, but the answer is no. And this makes it easier. And this is what I want the American folks to know. It makes it easier for human and drug traffickers, cartels, terrorists, organizations, and other criminals to do business in the United States.
You mean
why he didn't just debunk her and say and give the answer yes?
Because he's not a smooth talker like that. The guy, he's a good guy, you know what I'm saying, but he's not a smooth talker like that. He always, even when it's not in a hostile environment, he still kind of like, he kind of fumbles over his words. He gets it out, but it's like he's not a smooth talker. So yeah, I will say this: Trump, he might have got a good guy behind him, but yeah, he definitely didn't pick a smooth talker that could, like you said, articulate just like boom, come right back at it. He's not a debater. You know, he got the information. And if you give him time to talk, he can give it to you. But she's not going. That's why she did it. They be know what they're doing. She's been doing this for a minute. But the answer is no.
Shit, he didn't have to do much talking. All he had to do was say yes or no.
Once again, that's easy to say sitting behind this camera when you're in the hot seat, and this is being recorded live nationally. It's not that simple.
Yeah.
Especially, like I said, he's not a debater. Go ahead, keep playing.
Make him look too good.
And when you're limiting the enforcement just to foreign entities, it exempts 99% of the entities that Congress intended the law to cover when it was passed into law. So I think I do have my answer. We're just not agreeing on it, and we know why. So let me go to my second. It's my time. Let me go to my second question. The clock is running. It's my time. It is my time. You will not do this on my time.
You see how she is. You see how she's controlling it. He's not no aggressor. You know what I'm saying? If he would have said it with his chest, come out there as a man and spoke his facts, but instead, she made it where he was on her time.
So what she's getting at is trying to figure out if people from outside the country come in running a business, do they have to file complete the BOI?
Yeah,
that's her question.
Yeah, but that's my crazy thing about it. Okay, let's say, guess what though? Your administration is the reason why you got the illegals over here in the first place. But that's the crazy thing about it. They don't have this type of intel, man. The cartel is not worried about tax documents, man. Especially if they're doing what she's talking about, trafficking. They trying to figure out how to get these women and children across and make money off of them. They ain't trying to file no taxes, man. You got to really think. You know that's why reading is very essential. Like you will see right through this stuff. You know,
if they focus on trying to traffic, then it should be we should be doing something to stop it.
Exactly, but she's worrying about my point exactly. We should be worrying about stopping it, but she's worrying about them filing a BOI. See what I'm saying? How this don't make no sense. Like there's bigger problems to be worried about, and she's trying to figure out if the cartel is not filing taxes.
Now, if the cartel is coming over here establishing businesses, then that business should fall under the laws that the requirements that we have. And you got to file a BOI.
I want you to listen to what you just said. What cartels coming over here starting businesses, bro? Legally.
Plenty of them.
Legally?
Yep, they got ways around it. That's how they be washing them.
I mean, I get the money laundering. I get the money laundering part, but he also said they're required. He said the ones that's not required is the Americans, the domestic. Foreigners have to. It's called. He said it was bifurcated, which means it was divided, which means they got to, but this group don't.
And I don't see how he's saying we are not required, because we are.
No,
I get emails about that shit all the time. I already filed mine.
No, you're not. You're not. See, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said reading is essential. You keep calling yourself a U.S. citizen. U.S. citizens are subject to filing, bro. An American is not. Go read your Constitution. It tells you in the Constitution, no person shall be taxed or imposed in duty thereof. It's in your Constitution. That's what I said. Reading is essential, man. If you don't read, all of this stuff is just gonna be hit you like, no, yeah, this is what you're supposed to be doing. No, it's not. Just like you're not supposed to go to the DMV and get a driver's license either. That is for commercial purposes. You traveling to the grocery store and back to your house as a traveler, you have a right to travel. It also tells you that as well. No right shall be charged and imposed in duty on. It's in your Constitution. You have a right to travel. I kind of butchered it. I ain't said completely right, but it's in your Constitution.
Yeah. So for the people that's not reading, they're operating in this system, and if they're not, I'm going back to the BOI. Like I was sent the paperwork stating that I had to submit one of those to show whatever they were looking for as far as me being a business person.
Yes, that's because the way you structured your business. There was a better way you could have structured your business where you wouldn't have had to.
Yeah, so that's my point. When you said that when they're saying that people are not required, those people who are not reading, and I'll put myself in that category, if I would have just ignored the letter that I got, then I could be looking at some legal problems somewhere down the line. So instead of me trying to fight something that I have no fighting power or knowledge to fight against, I just went ahead and filled it out and gave it to him. There's my proof.
And why do you think? And why do you think when we read the bill where they put the pause on it, and what did it say? To give them time to gain clarity, and that way they don't get penalties on how to do their reporting. Because some of these, like I said, these foreigners, they don't really understand it. So you also got to give them some kind of leeway. The ones that's trying to do it right, she's just trying to make it look illegal, just so she can make the Trump administration look bad. But they got a whole bill that just voted on it 408-0. Well, my bad, it should be one, her.
Yeah.
So, but you got to understand how the system works. If you keep going on a traditional way, you gonna run into all of these things that you think you're supposed to do when technically you don't have to, because there's other ways of doing it. She's saying evade. Yes, evading is illegal, but avoiding isn't. Understand the difference between those two as well. So, like I said, this ain't just for the wealthy. This is for anybody. If you don't know if you're going to follow the traditional way of setting up an LLC and utilizing that way of business, which ain't nothing wrong with it, but this is what comes along with it. You're going to have to do a BOI. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to expose. You're going to have to, what they call, expose the corporate veil. But there's ways and certain paperwork that you can do. Back to, once again, the United States. If you're not a U.S. citizen, whether you know it or not, you're foreign to the United States. And all Americans are foreign to the United States because none of us was born in D.C. D.C. is where the White House is at. Nobody was born on the White House line. So technically, you are foreign to the United States. And you can set up what is called a private trust, and private trust entities are not required to report. That is a fact. By law, not by my opinion or Scott Bassett. That is by law. Read your IRM, your Internal Revenue Manual, on filing requirements. But anyway, this is getting a little off subject, so we're gonna go ahead and get back into Miss Joyce here.
Now, I'm going to ask for a few more seconds since he refused to comply with my time, not his time. In 2016, former Secretary Jack Lew announced that Harriet Tubman was to be the new face of the $20 bill. Can you tell me what's the current status of this project?
No, ma'am, I can't, but my staff will get back to you.
No, I want you to get back to me, because see, there seems to be an issue when it comes to things that affect people of color or people who live in poverty, whether it is what you're doing with Social Security, what you are doing with restricting funds.
The gentlewoman's
to
time. The gentlewoman's
So
time is
I
expired.
want you,
The gentlewoman's time is expired.
to me?
The gentleman from
Mr. Chairman,
Texas.
I need
the
him to
gentlewoman's
answer
time.
if he will. I'm not
The
a staff
gentlewoman can
person.
submit
I'm not
questions
asking
for the
him
record.
to have his staff report.
The
to me.
gentlewoman
So,
can
Mr.
submit-
Chairman, I'm addressing it to you to
The gentlewoman's
ask him
time is
to
expired.
respect me.
All right, you
Mr.
can pause it
Chairman,
right
I'm
Gentlewoman's
talking-
All right, you can stop right here because for the rest of that clip, you know, that's what it's just gonna keep going on and on. She is not letting up. She stayed relentless. I got to give her that one. She stayed on it, but yeah, it got aggravating. Ma'am, you heard the clicking in the background. Your time was running up, and your time was up. I mean, everybody got the same amount of time. You're not special, and your talking points was a little frivolous, if you ask me. But I can't even say that because I don't. Maybe she has some information that I'm not aware of. So all of that about the cartel, though, it's maybe the cartel. They might have some businesses out there, and they doing some money laundering. Now, I'm not gonna say that they're not. They probably paying some lawyers to do that for them.
If they're not, they stupid.
Oh, some of them that's moving some money. There are some now that's like, hey, but I ain't. But that number's very small, bro. That number is very small. I guarantee you, bro. They don't cartel. They move differently, bro. They don't have to move legally. They got everything set in their country, man. They don't gotta. You know what I'm saying? Here, that's just extra work, and they've been doing it illegally since the inception. So I don't think they care about no BOIs, and I don't think we're gonna have to worry about that anyway. Because isn't the border crossings all the way down? It's like 99% no crossing.
Yeah, they got it down like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ain't nobody showing up. Ain't nobody even coming to the border trying to get across no more.
I wonder how they did that. Who's responsible for that?
I don't know. Maybe this guy Trump stepped in and said something. Maybe.
That shit was definitely on the hush because I ain't heard nothing. Not that I was looking, but
You did, bro. What I about to say? You couldn't have been looking there because man, Trump been saying it. Tom Homan been saying it. But see, but you know, the left ain't seeing that because they're only gonna watch The View. They only gonna watch CNN. I don't even think they watch CNN because you know Scott Jenner, he be dropping bombs on them too. But you know, they don't really get to see all the information. That's why you should tap into Ground News. I sound like I'm advertising for them right now. This is not no promotion for them. I actually utilize it, and I suggest you should as well. But now let's go ahead to old crazy Jasmine Crockett. She ain't letting up either. Still the same old mess.
Ask for unanimous consent. Without objection. I'd like to enter into the record a New York Times article entitled "The GOP Plans to Cut Medicaid Would Save Billions But Leave More Uninsured," Budget Office says. That's what we're actually outraged
Without objection,
about.
so ordered. I now recognize
Also, I
Mr.
want to point
Burchett
out that the
from
most powerful
Tennessee.
oversight Republican
You're not
Congress
recognized. Miss Stansbury, you're not recognized.
talking
I'm
about
sorry, we're going to
fencing while they're
Crockett.
trying
Okay.
to cut Medicaid.
Actually, Miss Stansbury, you're not recognized. I now recognize Miss Crockett from Texas.
Thank you so much. It is so interesting that I just learned today at 44 years old that the Republicans are going to be the ones to save women. The same Republicans that have been, say, for Women's Reproductive Acts, or the same Republicans that have stood for the Equal Rights Act, which would hopefully get women to equal pay, or the same Republicans that just this Congress voted for the SAVE Act,
Hold on for a second.
franchise women from
Now, I don't want to come off as a womanizer or anything like that. First of all, let me put that disclaimer out there. But this equal pay for women, like I get it, there are women that do work hard, but as a whole, as in what she's speaking on, need to stop it until you give the same effort and work the same hardworking jobs as men, you're not going to get the same pay as men. I don't see no women out there trying to do no mining. I don't see no women out there that's doing construction. I was about to say no construction. They are in construction because I'll be on construction sites, and I'm telling you, they do like the cleaning up part. They do the finishing on the mud, on the walls. Very light work. It's light work. They're not working no jackhammers. They're not, doing no heavy extensive work. So you do not deserve the same pay as someone that's putting their life on the line. You're not putting your life on the line doing the cleanup on the finished product or sanding the walls. Get dust.
So if they got men doing that same job as the women, cleaning up, sanding the walls, they're getting paid the same thing, right? If they come in on the same level.
Yeah.
So what you complaining about?
Yeah, exactly. They get the same pay as the men on that level, but no, you don't deserve a certain type of, just like with what's the name? With Angel Reese talking about they should be getting paid millions. No, you might be on the same, you might be a professional athlete, but your views ain't the same. The same thing with working in the working class. Y'all do not do the same type of work, so you don't get the same results.
They should get paid what you worth.
You don't see no female plumbers. You don't see no female, and I could be wrong if there is in the comments. Hey, drop the links in the comments and let me check it out. You don't see no women working on the skyscrapers cleaning those windows 80, 100, 80 stories up. You don't see them doing no work like that. You don't see them working on the top of those bridges, walking those lines like in New York and places like that, San Francisco. You don't see them putting up wind turbines. Like the list just goes on and on. You know what I'm saying? The list goes on and on. No, it don't. No, I'm sorry, ladies. You get the pay for what job description you fit. And that goes for men too.
Yep, makes sense.
Even being able to vote. But let me tell you, they are our saviors. And so I am so happy to be here today, because otherwise I would not have an idea that I had a savior in the Republicans. So let's also talk about the fact that it's only been 100 days, 100 long, terrible days for anybody that absolutely believes in reality. Because what we know is that they have terminated staff responsible for enforcing federal protections against sex-based discrimination. Sounds like that's pro-women. Or they've cut funding for domestic violence survivor services. Sounds pro-woman to me. Or they prohibited funding for research affecting women's health. That definitely sounds pro-women to me. Essentially, they closed the Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights. Again, sounds like they are fighting for us. And instead of providing oversight over these actions, Congressional Republicans have been working to execute one of the most aggressive anti-women legislative agendas in history. And yet they're here today trying to convince the American people that discriminating against trans people is somehow the only way to protect women. This hearing has nothing to do with improving government efficiency. It's another attempt by Republicans to distract from their demonic and disastrous policies that are making it more difficult for Americans to make ends meet. So, Miss Goss-Graves, I want to play a game.
Oh, whoa, hold on.
It's called.
Did she just say their policy is making it difficult for Americans to make ends meet? Also, pay attention to this again, people. I'm pointing it out again. Even she's saying it. You don't hear them say U.S. citizen, the American people. That I was saying earlier, either they say American citizens, the American people, or just Americans. They'll never say U.S. citizens. Pay attention. How is the Trump administration making it hard for American people to live today when he actually brought prices down? Gas prices are down, egg prices are down, inflation is actually down. The markets just bounced back. You just got a new deal with UK that also helped the farmers. You got the deal done with Ukraine with the rare minerals. I'm confused on what she talking about here. And then she said the whole program was against women, just anti-women, when he got a bunch of women on his cabinet. And he just appointed Judge, what's her name? Lord have mercy. Her name just left my brain. The judge, he just appointed her nominated for her for something. He just left my brain just that fast. But anyway, the man is not anti-woman at all. She's just anti-Trump. That's all that is. All of her talking points are off. I'm not about to sit here and hit every single one of them, but yeah, let's keep going.
Trump or trans? You ready?
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask you a question, and I want you to tell me whether or not it is Trump or trans people that are responsible. You understand?
Got it.
Okay, very good. The first one, gutted medical research.
Trump.
Kidnapping Americans and sending them to foreign countries, aka deporting them.
Trump.
Driving us into a recession.
Trump.
Increasing the cost of everything.
Trump.
Waging an idiotic tariff war.
Trump.
Harming farmers.
Trump.
Ignoring the Constitution.
Trump.
Proposing to take away Social Security.
Trump.
Cutting health care.
Trump.
Firing government workers who keep our country safe.
Trump.
Encouraging an environment of hate and divisiveness.
Trump.
All right,
Thank you so much.
I keep saying, Paul, hey, Trump, sue her. Sue her, because everything she just out there said was a lie. What are the things I just called out? She was talking about the farmers. That was a lie. Because that UK deal just helped the farmers. She said the prices are going up. That's a lie, because all the prices are going down.
Everything I know there's price drops. Definitely.
And then you see how she set the question. She did that on purpose. You see how she set the questions up so old girl would deliberately just say Trump on everything. I think we need to take Trump out and put Crockett in there. Crockett, because everything she just out there and said was a straight up lie. And saying that the man is anti-trans. Well, the man ain't anti-trans. He just don't. We just, the American people are just tired of y'all, the trans. You know what I'm saying? The trans people putting this stuff on kids. Leave the kids alone. That's where they messed up at. You know, y'all was already getting plenty. You was getting your parades. You was getting your TV shows, your movies, your entertainment. You was getting it. But boy, when you started putting the books in the libraries at elementary schools, you started becoming teachers and started trying to put this stuff in kids' heads as they're young. And no, that's where you cross the line. This ain't just Trump. This is America. That's where you cross the line when you started doing all that.
Yep.
The Americans, maybe not everybody, but you know, the majority welcomed you. Matter of fact, about 10 minutes up the road, there's a whole community called Wilton Manors. They got communities and all. Ain't nobody bothering them. But when you start messing with the kids, that's when it's time to go ahead. Trying to put the foot down. And then he said she said he was violating the Constitution. Where? She didn't bring it. She just said the Constitution. She didn't say it specifically what. But anyway.
Nope.
This committee could be engaged in actual oversight of fraud, waste, abuse, and mismanagement. So let's talk about waste. Like Trump's plan to spend almost $100 million for his little birthday parade, or how he spent 25% of his first 100 days golfing, costing taxpayers tens of millions of dollars. In fact, it's a little bit over 30 million at our last estimation. In fact, President Trump is on pace to spend more than $1 billion of taxpayer dollars just on golfing.
Man, she tripping. This man been doing his thing golfing before he even ran for the first term. So for her to just sit there and say he using billions of tax dollars to go golfing, then also for his birthday, the man can't help what day he was born on, that it just so happened to fall on the 250th anniversary for the military. What?
And don't he allegedly supposed to be not taking any money from?
It ain't no allegedly. Yeah, it ain't allegedly. It's a fact.
So
He's not taking
how's that coming from the people's tax dollars then?
Because of what you call it, protective services.
Oh, because they got to be around him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, shit, that's their job. He's not taking. I mean, If he go out and want to go play golf, they got to be around him.
His tax dollars is paying him. But they're trying to make it seem like he just waited till he became president to start going on golf tours. He been doing it.
Yeah.
So his schedule hasn't changed outside of the presidency. Well, he's supposed to change. He's supposed to stop golfing because he became president. And the crazy thing about it, he's been more transparent in the first 100 days than Biden was his whole term, and he still got time to golf. That's a bad man.
I guess they don't want him to have no type of leisure, no personal life, no nothing, just straight White House. And
they don't like the fact that this man is eating them up, man, and he's doing it. He's being very transparent. This man is truthing on Truth Social. He's dropping truths at 3:00 in the morning, doing press conferences at 7 in the morning. It's like the dude don't sleep.
Yet the Republicans have been silent. So they must think spending taxpayer dollars on the president's golfing trips is more important than providing health care to their constituents. And when I talk about constituents, we're going to talk about the ones on this committee. So if we look at Texas 26, 39,000 children look to potentially lose their Medicaid with the cuts that they are about to vote on for reconciliation. 88,000 in Georgia 3, 68,000 in Missouri 7, 79,000 in Tennessee 2, 86,000 in South Carolina 4, 50,000 in Texas 04, 85,000 in Texas 27, and in Georgia 14, 111,000. And if you add that up just on this committee, we have 606,000 kids that are relying on us to do right by them. And instead, we playing these crazy games because we worried about 10 trans folk that are in sports right now in college. I wasn't elected to be engaged in these fights. I was elected to make sure that those kids, the kids that they are about to neglect with these terrible votes that they're about to take, I was elected to protect them and to make sure that they could grow up and have all the opportunities. But let's keep on track.
Well, lying to kids is a terrible job of protection, ma'am. Yeah, because you just lied. Once again, how many times has the man just out there? I mean, he's went on a whole tour saying not touching Medicaid or Social Security, but she's going on a whole tour saying the opposite. When is they gonna get off of it? Specifically her. When is she gonna get off of these talking points with the Medicaid and Social Security? When they gonna get off of it? Keep it rolling.
We look at how much they are spending on. Let's look at fraud. We could investigate whether the White House and the members of this subcommittee engaged in insider trading and market manipulation. Maybe it's a coincidence that the chairwoman brought hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stock the day before Trump announced a 90-day pause on tariffs. But I guess we'll never know. So finally, let's talk about abuse. Like how the Republicans have let Elon steal data of Americans and his competitors to make himself even richer. Look, don't let these hearings distract you from their destruction. This is rage baiting instead of conducting oversight over the issues that Americans actually care about. And with that, I will yield.
The gentlelady's time is expired.
Madam Chair,
I now recognize.
Madam Chair, I move down to take down her words impugning you. It's saying you committed a crime.
Without objection, so ordered.
So Elon Musk stole some data, huh?
Yeah, man. Hold on. I'm about to get to that too. I'm glad they said, man, hey, take that. Strike her words down. Take that down. Because she just sat there and said that woman was doing insider trading. When she made, and I looked it up, her salary is $174K. But she's worth $9 million. Nancy Pelosi and many more. And she got the audacity talking about some insider trading. And then, yes, the Elon thing where she talking about the man was getting data. Do you not know people been getting your data, people? Who do you think the IRS, who do you think work at the IRS office when you do your tax returns? You don't know none of them. But now all of a sudden you talking about Elon getting the information. One of the richest mans on the planet wants your $2,500 tax return. He don't want your bad credit. He don't want your 620 credit score. That man so rich, I don't even think he knows what a credit score is. And people worried about him having the, and then that's another thing. He not even directly looking at the information. He got people that I ain't even gonna say he. The Treasury have people, and the IRS have people that's specifically for that. Elon is not sitting on top over there. Let me check out this Social Security number right here. Let me check out. Yeah, they doing fraud here. He's not the one that's sitting there looking at all that. He's moving like Trump with Doge. He's just pulling some strings and letting the brains work it. Like my man, Big Balls. Yeah, Big Balls is on it.
Big Balls on it.
He young and ready to go. Big Balls, let's go. So yeah, man, y'all let us know what y'all think, man. If y'all have any comments, drop them. If you agree, disagree, tap on in, and also don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Peace.
I done cashed out on that game. They don't understand my pain. They didn't want to see me win. I did it again. I'm all about my cash. I be getting it in. Take it all out to the end. I did it again. Lost the best thing of my life. I did it again. Then I bounced right back, came stronger. I did it again. They didn't want to see me win. I did it again. I did it again. I did it again. I did it again. I did it again.